Welcome once again to Inside Earlham College Volleyball. We're going to talk about where the Quakers are right now and what they have coming up here in the next few days. We'll do that next with head coach Lauren CRUMP right here on Inside Earlham College Volleyball on Radio Troy Digital Sports.
The Drewley Performance Gymnasium, dedicated on February 6 of 2016, is home to Schuckman Court and the Earlham men's basketball, women's basketball, and volleyball teams. Built to seat 1,800 fans, the facility features a full-length basketball court with locker rooms for home and visiting teams. Schuckman Court is painted with volleyball lines and can also support 2 basketball courts for intramural play. An observation room above allows for video streaming and media members to view the game from above. 2 storage areas are located in either corner of the facility, with a concession stand located just outside the main entrance.
Back once again on Inside Earlham College Volleyball with head coach Lauren CRUMP, and as of this discussion today, the Quakers take on BLUFFTON on a Wednesday, and then we'll talk about what's coming up here in the next few days. And Coach, last time we got together, we talked about just about everything except for some of the things I really wanted to talk about. One of those was your talented freshman class. And you have a really good group of kids playing for your team right now that are getting some big-time moments for your club right now. Talk a little bit about their impact.
Yeah, so we've got 5 freshmen this year, and they're from Texas, Arizona, Indiana. We only have 1 from Indiana, and then we've got California and Kansas. So coming from heavily West Coast kids, and that's just, it's a different style of volleyball. The coaching there is different. It's more, I would say that they're getting all around experience as far as sand, court, club. That's the environment there. That's the mentality there is play as much as I can. So they're not, I feel like a lot of Indiana kids or maybe Midwest kids play mini sports. They're at smaller schools, so they're playing basketball, they're swimming, they're track. But these 5 girls, or 4 mostly, are one-sport athletes, and that's volleyball. And that's why you see them on the court, starting most of the games, playing most of the games. It's because they've been in the game for a very long time. So they're skilled, they've got the IQ, they know what's going on. Now it's just about getting them that collegiate experience. Because we talked a little bit last week about how our game has increased as far as skill, pace, all of that. Our shots are better. And it's because, the girls are getting acclimated to the environment of college athletics, but also, they've been in it for a long time.
How do you find some of these girls when we're and Earlham is a college that is known worldwide, but to find that certain athlete that you're looking for, they've got to certainly meet what you're looking at as a volleyball player. How do you find them?
Okay, a lot of work, a lot of on the phone type of stuff, and that's either calling them or texting them. I personally rather call them and talk with them, chat with them, pick their brain about certain things. But we've got a pretty healthy recruiting budget. So we go to Las Vegas every February. There's 4, I know. It's all business, it really is. I don't think I'd put 1 dime down.
No, I'm just kidding.
But there's 450 unsigned seniors in February in Vegas.
No kidding.
Every year. I've been for the past 3 years. And every year it's 400, and the number keeps going up.
Wow. And
now some of those student athletes have, they have schools that they're looking at and just haven't made a decision, but they go to this showcase and we get to just sit down and watch them all play, and they're all seniors. And then there's a different showcase where there's juniors. So we'll get a year in advance, we'll get to see the talent before we go back the next year. And then centered around that showcase is a tournament, so it's a 3 or 4 day tournament. So then we get to see them in this light where they're showcasing their talent, but then we get to see them in a game-like situation. It is the perfect environment for a coach to be at. So we see athletes there, and actually 2 of my athletes are from that specifically. Yeah, so we get to see, them play, and then we get to find out, okay, now where are their academics? The showcases will provide us with their GPAs and with their test scores, so we can look at a girl and be like, okay, number 70. No, she won't be able to get in, and we can just cross off people and go after people. So yes, it's a lot of background work, and it's worth it. It pays off. We got 2 this year, we got 2 last year, so it's been nice.
Wow, no kidding. In Vegas of all places.
In Vegas,
too. Yeah. Well, it certainly makes your job a lot easier. doesn't it? I mean,
Make it easier?
a little bit easier.
Showcases make our job easier, because there's a lot, like Team Indiana in Indianapolis. We go to one in Ohio. I mean, there's showcases do make our lives easier, because it's a lot of girls in 1 or 2 days. We get to see them, talent, like show their talent in that one day, and then play the rest of the weekend, and the GPAs are provided. So it does make our job a lot easier. But then seeing if they're a good fit for Earlham is probably the hardest part, because it's not just academics, it's mental. Can you come into a team that's young, maybe you don't start, or maybe you don't play, maybe your academics take a turn for the worse because it's harder, or you wanted to be pre-med and now you're finding out I don't want to do that. So we have to find girls that can mentally fit the bill too.
Yeah, very true. A lot of work put into that as well on your side. Coach, you come back from Illinois. Talk a little bit about your trip. It certainly, from a win-loss standpoint, is not what you wanted, but you probably gained a lot of great experience out there.
We did. The first day we played 2 teams that, one, I say we had a very good chance of beating Principia. The second was Augustana, and they were good. And I think the girls knew they were good from the jump. However, Principia was our first match, and we were a very evenly matched team. And I remember I called the first time out of the game. I was so upset. And I was like, are you kidding me, guys? Where's the fire? Where's the energy? We can win this game. And I think what we're lacking is knowing that we can, and knowing that we should, and knowing, like, I don't know, I think it's believing also, all those cliche things. But then the second day we came back and we won the Monmouth game. Monmouth was a team that we beat last year. Illinois College, we were 2-2 when we came home from there last year, and this year we were 1-3. Monmouth was one of the games that we got both years, and I told the team before we went out on the court, this is a team that if we don't beat them, then we don't see progress, right? We've got to consistently beat these teams to really show that, okay, we are better. And I think that might have lit a fire under them, because we had a kind of a crappy warm up, and I said, if we're not going to give it our all right now, we need to sit the bench now. Then let's not kid ourselves. And I think the girls really understood, okay, we did it last year. We're better this year. Why can't we do it? But it's like, why don't we have that mentality every game? And we also got to play Illinois College. And again, that was a team I think we matched up pretty well. They had a lot of first and second year players, and so do we. So again, it's that, that unseasoned team that, the battle of those two, and we lost. But we did learn a lot as far as maybe just believing more in our skills, and believing that, because I changed the lineup up.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the starters weren't starting in the Monmouth game. We won the game with one of our freshmen on the outside. She actually plays right side. Our junior right side got to come in and showcase her abilities. She worked late after practice one day and just kind of opened my eyes, and she's been working hard in practice, and boom, she gets in the court.
Wow.
Oh, she did so good. She did good, yeah. So, we learned that no matter who's on the court, we can get it done. And I told you last time we talked was, we may not be better than them, we just have to play better. We have to perform better, talk more, score more points, and it's more than volleyball at that point, right? You can win it without being the most skilled.
You mentioned the cliche thing a couple of moments ago, but the bottom line is you're still psychologist coach. You got to instill in them that part that they can do it.
Yeah, and actually what's cool is Vince Punzo, our faculty athletic representative, he's a psychology teacher here. He's doing a sports psychology class, and I think like 6 of my girls are in that class.
Good.
And they bring it to the court, they bring it to practice, they bring it to the game, all the stuff that they're learning. And so thankfully I don't have to be a psychologist all the time.
Not as much as you normally would be.
I get to coach a little bit. And they bring that mental aspect into it, and it's awesome. I mean, it's so cool to see that finally, that they get, okay, what I'm learning is relatable, and it's here at Earlham. We are teaching them things that they can put into athletics and, their personal lives, all of that.
Very, very true. All right, again, BLUFFTON on a Wednesday.
Yes.
Talk a little bit about BLUFFTON, and certainly they're playing well right now.
They are playing well. We were able to watch them play a few different teams. One was Capital. We went to Capital our first weekend. We took Capital to 4 sets and lost. BLUFFTON played Capital and won in 5. So that was the match that we did a lot of our scouting on, because we played Capital, so we knew what they had. And We're prepared. We are. We know what they're going to do. I guess, can I tell you our game plan? All right, we're going to do it. So Bluffton won last year. They won the conference tournament. Okay. They had a freshman setter who was on the all-conference team. She was amazing. She leads the conference now. And we take her out of the game. We take her out of the game, and they don't know what to do with the ball, or they do know what to do with it, and they're out of system.
Right.
Our defense has improved so much over the season. My libero Megan is doing an amazing job, and if we get them out of system so they can't hit hard like they want to, that setter gets frustrated. She can't play her role if she's touching the ball first every time and not second. That is our game plan. Now, whether we get out there and do it, that's the plan, is to take her out of the offense, make them be out of system, make them give us roll shots, something easy that we can just pick up and eat up. That's how we will win this game tonight.
That's why you go into it with game plans.
A game plan, we watched them play Capital, we watched Bluffton play Muskegum, and then Capital again. So we've got a bunch of different eyes on what they're doing, and it seems like they do what their coach tells them to do. And if they've watched film on us, they're going to tip, they're going to hit line because we don't put anybody on our line, and little do they know we're going to block line. we're gonna change it up too. So I think it'll be a good battle. Yes, they're top in our conference. They won last year. We're at the bottom, totally honest. And I think right now, just the mojo, the vibes, it's all there. We're prepared. We're better, and the girls are excited to get out there.
It's going to be a fun one. By the way, that'll tip off tonight at 7:30, or is it 7?
7 o'clock.
7 o'clock, okay.
Yeah, and it's a maroon out. We've got the Quaker Army coming back.
Oh, good.
Yeah, we've
Fantastic.
got that a brewing. So we're having a little pep rally before and announcing the girls there, and then hopefully we come in and get a win.
All right, after Wednesday, what happens?
After Wednesday, we play Franklin on Saturday, another conference match that we are going to get them.
Okay.
And Franklin's been... the coach is Mary, and she's been like, Earlham's going to get somebody. She was like, I don't want it to be me, but Earlham is out to get someone, and she's said that for the past few years. So, and we've been very, very close. All of our Franklin matches are always so back and forth battling. I know last year they were here, and it was a great battle. We did end up losing, but we are out to get them. And then we'll play Fontbonne there too.
Okay,
Yep.
busy times, and we'll keep
know.
an eye on it.
Yeah.
By the way, for those of you that can't make it tonight, we'll have it right here on Radio Troy Digital Sports, and looking forward to our pre-match. We'll begin probably around 6:50 or so. Coach, good to see you again.
Thank you very much.
And good luck for the next couple of matches, and we'll talk with the head coach next time right here on Radio Troy Digital Sports.